Watching Spencer Pratt take down Gavin Newsom is the best thing on the internet right now. Gavin Newsom threw a charity event where all these celebrities came and played a concert and raised $100 million for the fire victims of LA. Problem is, none of those fire victims has seen any of the money. So, C-list celebrity Spencer Pratt went digging to find out why. Spencer and Heidi Pratt's home burned down in the fires, and they have had all kinds of trouble trying to get permits to rebuild their home.
Oh, dirty Gavin Newsom, I caught you.
So a couple days ago, I had posted about a congressman calling for the investigation of where the fire aid money had gone to. There was a fundraiser that was created and over $100 million was raised towards direct relief to the fire victims in LA. This letter was sent to Pam Bondi to ask for the investigation of where the funds went. People like Spencer Pratt, this guy has been very loud about the fact that none of the fire victims, including him and his wife, have received any funds. And he came out with a video calling out the fact that it's been discovered.
Buckle up, because this story's got everything scandal, deception, and a whole lot of missing money. We're talking about Gavin Newsom and the explosive controversy surrounding a staggering $100 million that was supposed to go to fire victims in Los Angeles. But instead of relief, those victims are still waiting left in the ashes asking, where's the money? It's less like a disaster recovery plan and more like a political soap opera gone off the rails. And just when you think it can't get weirder, enter Spencer Pratt, reality TV's unexpected whistleblower. Yes, that's Spencer Pratt. You can't make...
All right, well, I have unfortunately gone down this Spencer Pratt and Gavin Newsom rabbit hole, and I'm thoroughly entertained. For one, I think it's about time we give Spencer Pratt his flowers. The guy is a beauty. He's hilarious. I personally get a kick out of him, probably more than other people, because I have a very similar sense of humor to him. If you've seen some of my videos, I do like to post some rage bait stuff because I thoroughly enjoy seeing the reaction from people and how ballistic they go for just like things that they see on TikTok. It's just, to me, it's hilarious. But anyways, I digress. So, situation with Spencer Pratt and Gavin Newsom. Basically, there was a concert at some point after the tragic LA wildfires. About $100 million was raised. And a lot of people who unfortunately did lose their homes during that event kind of sounded the alarm on this, that said, hey, we haven't seen a dime of this $100 million. Where did it go? Well, turns out the money was distributed to several different nonprofit organizations, and one of them happened to be owned and ran by yours truly, Gavin Newsom's wife. Well, an internet sleuth and Spencer Pratt kind of brought this to light. Gavin Newsom's camp is 100% denying it, but Spencer Pratt has receipts. And let me tell you, it does not look good for Gavin Newsom. I don't know if anybody knows exactly how much money he stole, but all indications are that he did steal and basically launder millions and millions of dollars that was there to help out victims of a national...
After losing his own home to the flames, Spencer Pratt took matters into his own hands. And what he uncovered is downright jaw-dropping. Stepping into full-blown investigative mode, Spencer started connecting the dots and uncovered some seriously sketchy ties, including nonprofits linked to wait for Gavin Newsom's own wife. Sounds like a plot twist in a political thriller, right? But this is real life, and the internet is losing it. Outrage is spreading like wildfire, with social media demanding accountability. If Newsom thought he could quietly bury this story, Spencer just flipped the entire rug over, and possibly the whole living room with it. And hey, if you're as locked in as I am, hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel, and make sure you won't miss a single update as this story keeps unraveling. Charity event breakdown. Let's rewind to where this saga really starts. A glitzy, celebrity-packed charity event that looked like it was pulled straight from a Hollywood script. But trust me, the drama was just getting started.
Where all these celebrities came and played a concert and raised $100 million for the fire victims of LA. Problem is, none of those fire victims has seen any of the money. So, C-list celebrity Spencer Pratt went digging to find out why. Spencer and Heidi Pratt's home burned down in the fires, and they have had all kinds of trouble trying to get permits to rebuild their home. Meanwhile, old Gavin Newsom's out here doing a land grab to build his low-income homes. So when Spencer started his digging to see exactly where this $100 million has gone, he discovered that $50 million of it had basically gone into Gavin Newsom's pocket. So now that Spencer has brought so much attention to it, an investigative journalist from Circle the News has gotten involved, and she has done her own digging on where this money has gone. She has discovered that instead of the money going directly to victims, that the money is going to several nonprofits. Some of these nonprofits are actually using the money to help victims and going to their nonprofits to provide things for victims, but many of those have zero ties to victims whatsoever. One of the nonprofits that received the largest financial grant is called Cal Volunteers. Guess who is the chair of that nonprofit? None other than Gavin Newsom's wife. So y'all go follow along, because this is so interesting that the Attorney General's getting involved to find out exactly what old Newsom is doing with the money for these victims. And anybody that exposes Gavin Newsom has my full support. Mind you, this is all alleged. I do not need some dirty Democrat coming.
Celebrities and major properties joined forces in a star-studded concert to raise funds for LA wildfire victims, a cause everyone could rally behind. The goal? $100 million in relief. But somewhere along the way, that noble mission took a shady turn.
Only have 4 seats that are represented by black folk, where the vast majority of the people that get to decide who they have represent them are black. They decided to attack 3 of the 4 seats that we have in the state. They decided to go after a Latina. They are specifically deciding to splinter the communities of common interest, as well as just blatantly say, we are going to dilute minority voices. So we know that the courts, ever since we've had a Voting Rights Act, have always found. We also know that there are donors that I'm sure are going to be willing to make sure that they are investing and making sure that they can take down some of these candidates. Since they don't want to rule out dark money, I'm sure some dark money gonna pour in on the behalf of the American people. So what I am saying is every tactic, as well as making sure
That's where things took a sharp nosedive. Sure, the concert looked like a massive success, glamorous, high profile, and full of good intentions. But behind the scenes, a much darker story began to emerge. People started asking the obvious question, where did all that money go? With $100 million raised, you'd expect victims to be well on their way to recovery. Instead, reports started trickling in that the promised aid was missing in action. No help, no answers, just a growing sense that something wasn't adding up. Then we learned.
I just don't take anything at a surface level on social media. I decided to go to the Fire Aid website, where it does display that a total of $75 million has been given out of the $100 million. And I clicked on round 2. It starts off with this one where it talks about how $700,000 was given for critical information for fire victims. And then when you scroll down, you do see Cal Volunteers, which is an organization that got a grant that took some of the money. I need you to pay attention to the one beneath it that says Center for Nonprofit Management. Remember that. This story started gaining more traction and more coverage started hitting this because you go to Cal Volunteer and you check out the commission. Guess who is the honorary chair? That's right, Jennifer Newsom. Guys, Gavin Newsom's wife. She's the honorary chairman of Cal Volunteer. Decided to go back to the Fire Aid website, and guess what is conveniently missing on the list of people that got grants on round 2? Remember how I told you Center for Nonprofit Management? Below that and above that was Cal Volunteer. But today on the website, if you go search round 1 and round 2, somehow Cal Volunteer disappeared from the list of people that got grants. Now what appears above Center for Nonprofit Management is California Local Conservation Corps. Yes, you can scour through that list. You're not going to find Cal Volunteer on there anymore. What are you hiding, New Scum? We already figured it out that your wife is leading one of the nonprofits that got the grant. So we already know you took the money from the fire victim. You refused to bring voter ID back to get federal funding to the fire victim. So when you're out there on the campaign trail talking about how much you care about...
Enter Spencer Pratt, a name you probably didn't expect to be attached to a political scandal of this magnitude. But after his own home was reduced to rubble by the wildfires, Spencer stepped into an entirely new role: investigator. Fueled by personal loss and public outrage, he began digging into the supposed $100 million in relief funds that never seemed to reach the victims. And what he started to uncover sent shockwaves through social media and beyond. At first, it was just a few questionable links nonprofits that didn't quite add up. But the deeper Spencer dug, the more unsettling the picture became. One name kept resurfacing again and again: Cal Volunteers, a nonprofit organization chaired by none other than Jennifer Siebel Newsom, yes, the wife of Governor Gavin Newsom. Suddenly, this wasn't just about mismanaged money. This was about political connections, blurred lines, and potential conflicts of interest sitting in plain sight. What started as a quiet investigation quickly exploded into a full-blown media firestorm. Spencer's findings caught the attention of journalists, watchdog groups, and everyday citizens, all wondering the same thing: how could so much money just disappear? And more importantly, how could organizations so closely linked to the state's highest office be involved in something so murky? Social media went into overdrive. Outrage turned into viral posts. Memes, hashtags, and video breakdowns flooded every platform. People demanded justice for the families left behind in the smoke and ash, many of whom still had no homes, no support, and no answers. The phrase "where's the money, Gavin?" started trending, and with every new piece of information Spencer released, the pressure mounted not just on Newsom, but on the entire system that allowed something like this to happen. And here's the kicker: the story doesn't just raise red flags about one governor or one nonprofit. It opens up a much larger, much scarier question: how secure are donations during major disasters? When celebrities, politicians, and high-profile organizations all rally around a cause, is anyone actually making sure the money gets where it's supposed to go? For many, the involvement of Jennifer Newsom pushed the situation from concerning to explosive. It's one thing to uncover potential fraud in a charity, it's another to trace it back to the family of the state's most powerful figure. The optics were terrible, and public trust took a serious hit. Suddenly, people were questioning not just this fundraiser, but every glitzy charity event they'd ever supported. And while Governor Newsom and his administration scrambled to contain the fallout, the damage was already done. Spencer's revelations didn't just stir the pot, they started a wildfire of their own. Calls for an official audit grew louder. Whispers of resignations floated through political circles. And everywhere, people began to reevaluate the way disaster relief is handled and who's really benefiting. In the wake of this chaos, Spencer Pratt, formerly known for his reality TV antics, emerged as an unexpected advocate for transparency. Whether you see him as a hero, a watchdog, or just a guy who refused to look away, one thing's clear: he got people talking. But the story doesn't end with a viral video or a Twitter feud. As investigations deepen and more rescue programs come under scrutiny, a bigger debate is beginning to take shape. Who should be responsible for holding these organizations accountable? Should it be donors, journalists, the government itself? So I'll leave you with this. After everything we've unpacked today, who do you think should answer for the vanishing disaster relief funds? Let me know in the comments, because this conversation is just getting started.